It's been 7 years since I stepped on the bodybuilding stage, and this year I've decided to make a return and I'm going to compete at the WNBF for the first time in the men's physique masters category. So a lot's changed since I last competed. I'm married now with 2 small kids. I'm still running my personal training and coaching business fully online now. We got through COVID, so a lot's happened in those last 7 years. But why am I coming back to bodybuilding? Why am I going back to the stage? The same for most individuals. I want to work towards something. I need something to challenge me and push me. I've done a few high roxes recently, but it wasn't until I joined a new gym that itch, that old fire for bodybuilding really came back. And I didn't really get where I wanted to when I first did it all those years ago. So it's just kind of wanting to go back, prove that I can do it, and hopefully get the result that I've always wanted, which is to be in at least the top 3 in a competition. But this time I'm going to completely document my journey back to the stage, and I want to bring you along with me so you get a real idea of what it's like to compete, what it's like to step on stage and really challenge yourself and push hard. And this time I'm doing it as a parent and juggling everything that goes along with that. And a lot of my clients are parents as well, so I really want to show them what's possible if you really want it bad enough. So I'm about 2 weeks into prep and we're about 12 weeks and a few days out from the competition date. I believe it's the 13th of September. So ideally I really want to be ready a week before the competition. You never really want to be dieting right into the competition because that peak week is vitally important to be in shape, and then you want to be going into it in your best possible condition, filling up on carbohydrates. So really it's probably more like 11 weeks at this point. But in terms of where I'm at right now, I recomped towards the back end of last year. In terms of, I'd just finished doing a lot of high rocks training. I'd lost a little bit of muscle and size from all the training that's involved with that, but I've recomped over the back end of last year, so December through to January and February, by quite a bit actually. I got back, despite dieting, I got back up to about 81, 82 kg, relatively lean. I'd say my body fat percentage was around 12%, but then I started to diet down a little bit more. And that's when my weights plateaued for a little while, where I was recomping. So fat was coming off, muscle was going on, old muscle, not necessarily new muscle. And then my weight on the scales is pretty much level. But since then, I've really knuckled in on the diet for the last couple of weeks and started to see some movement. So now we're down to 79, or should I say the high 78 kgs, with my target being about 71 for stage weight, maybe less, depending on how my conditioning's coming in. I'm currently on 2,100 calories a day, so that's about 180 grams of protein, 50 grams of fats, and 200 grams of carbohydrates. I am losing weight around 1 kilo a week, or just slightly under. I'm assuming that's going to slow up soon, and that's when I'll start scaling up the additional steps and additional cardio. But at the moment, my training is 4 days a week with weights, and it's an upper-lower split. So Monday would be lower, upper would be Tuesday. I would do some light cardio on a Wednesday, and then Thursday would be lower, followed by upper on a Friday. And I've always responded really well to the 4-day training week, especially at my age now when I'm in my 40s. I always find that if I start training 5 to 6 days a week with weights, I start to overtrain, my body doesn't recover too well. Whereas I think for me personally, I have a really good response rate from 4 days a week, and I do tend to grow better from it. In terms of the training at the moment, the sessions are going well, strength is still there. I did have a hip injury at the end of last year, which I'm slowly getting over. The recovery's taken me a bit longer than I hoped for. I had some inflammation within the joint, some tendonitis of the quads, which has really impacted my squats, or my heavy squats. So I had to dial that back. But other than that, everything else is going really well. I'm very strong in a lot of my upper body pulling movements, upper body pressing is going well. My deadlifts are great. So everything else is going really smoothly. It's just a bit of a slow return to heavy squats. But in terms of rep ranges, at the moment with the first compound movement of the workout, it's usually between 5 to 6 reps. And then I work upward to about 8 to 10. And then sometimes with accessory work, arms for instance, or delts, it's in a slightly higher rep range of 10 to 12. And I've always had good results from doing that split in terms of increasing the reps throughout the course of the workout. But over the course of time, I'll probably end up dropping down the total volume, but keeping the intensity high, just to ensure that I'm retaining muscle mass whilst deep into prep. But in these early days, I can still handle a bit of the volume, and hopefully I can grow a bit more off the back of it. I'm pretty happy with my current conditioning. Although having dropped my carbohydrates recently just to create the calorie deficit, I've noticed I'm a bit flatter than usual. My pumps aren't quite as big as they used to be, and it has impacted my training performance ever so slightly in terms of energy in the back end of the day. Being a parent as well, that's always impacted. But I think where this is occurring with my workouts at the moment, I may have to increase the number of weekly refeeds as I progress into the diet. As I get leaner, I may have to look at having a weekly refeed of about 100 and 150 extra grams of carbohydrates a day, just to make sure my glycogen levels are filling up, to aid training intensity, and to help obviously starve off increasing hunger levels. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that just yet. I'm not lean enough. I need to dig in a bit more, lose a bit more body fat. Despite if I am looking a bit flatter than usual, just got to push through that phase. And then once I get that down to those lower body fat percentages, that's when I'll really be looking to introduce those refeeds. Anyway, that's a wrap on this week's prep update. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you can follow this old man on his journey back to the stage. And I look forward to sharing the experiences with you, and I'll see you next week.